Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and with me for our first session of today's show is the head boys soccer coach at Fairview High School, Jason Loudon. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Jack. Glad to be here.
Now, since it's the first time on the show, tell the viewers where you grew up, where you went to school, and those type of things, where all you've been coaching. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I was actually born in California and moved around a lot. Family around the country. Finished up high school in Marietta, Georgia, and through there found out about the University of the South as I was graduating, and so I ended up going there. Was originally recruited there to play some soccer, and ended up switching tracks, and I played football there for 3 years. And since been out of Suwanee, I've been here in Williamson County. Got my first teaching job at Hillsborough Middle School and taught there for 5 years. This is my first year at Fairview High School. So it's nice to be in the same place that I've been coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's go back to University of South.
All right.
I think it's absolutely beautiful campus up there. My brother actually, way back in the 60s, played a little basketball up there at the University of South, but it was so expensive we could only afford for 1 year up there when my mom and dad could. So my brother's a little bit older than me, but that was my first knowledge of Suwanee up there and getting to see the campus back then. So your experience went from soccer to Division III football.
That's right. That's right.
Was you a kicker on the football team?
I was a receiver.
Receiver.
Lost a little weight since then.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. Do you any kicking? Extra points? Or
I did.
You just think soccer players and kickers.
You think.
You think they kind of go hand in hand.
What it was, Jack, I was a goalkeeper in high school, and when I got there, they were pretty stacked at goalkeeper. They had 2 or 3 guys that were upperclassmen.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the football team was kind of hurting for receivers. They'd had a lot of injuries and things. So I ended up trying out football, and I had played high school football also, but soccer was always kind of my thing, and wound up playing college football.
Okay.
It was a great experience.
Right. Well, you head boys coach there at Fairview in soccer. Do you help with the girls in the fall?
I don't.
Okay.
I did help out with the football team this year.
Okay.
But this is my first year. Like I said, I was at Hillsborough previously, and
Right.
so I was pretty tied up in the fall coaching miscellaneous sports there.
So how's the difference between middle school versus high school?
Well, I mean, I got the privilege to be able to coach both middle school and high school at the same time there for the first couple of years, and to me, I just think that the role of the coach is different. Especially being out at Hillsborough, it was a lot of fun to really just focus on getting kids to love a sport that many of them had never played before.
Sure.
Just giving them that exposure to it, letting them feel like they're a part of the team. A lot of the same lessons, carry over in high school, about the team building and the discipline and things, but obviously much more emphasis is on, ability and being able to be competitive and to hopefully win games and, make your school look good. So
Right. So tell us about, do you have an assistant coach that helps you?
I do. It's funny. So this will be my 6th year coaching the Fairview soccer team, and this is going to be my 6th new assistant. So I've had a different one each year.
Okay.
And all of them have been great for different reasons, have brought different strengths to the coaching program. But this year, I've got a new teacher who moved in. His name's Coach Kevin McCarthy. He teaches at Fairview Middle School.
Okay.
Really excited. He's got some Division I soccer playing experience actually at the University of South Carolina, and just solid guy. Kids just love him, and he's going to be an invaluable asset to the team.
So I know the season right at this point, we hadn't got cranked up yet, so you guys are doing your off-season stuff. What kind of off-season conditioning and weights? Do y'all do weights and that kind of stuff?
We did more kind of calisthenic sort of things. We did do some weights back in the fall, but for the last couple weeks we've been really just focusing on fitness and things that use your own body weight. I've done a lot of research to just some different programs that other colleges and high school coaches have tried out and have had some success, and I'm really excited about the fitness level of our team going into the season. I think we're about as fit as we've ever been. So
okay, let's talk a little bit about your team.
Okay.
Going into this season, preseason, kind of tell us what maybe some of your strengths and weaknesses would be.
Well, we just been ecstatic about the progress I feel like the team's made in the last couple years, and I feel like we're now sort of at the apex where the buy-in is there, the team chemistry is at an all-time high. I think that skill-wise, ability-wise, we're going to be about as good as we've ever been. Saying that, we also have the leadership that I think, we've had in spells in years past, but I think there's just buy-in from freshmen all the way up, and it seems like a great commitment to each other. And I think we're also going to have, saying all that with team chemistry, we're going to have a lot of competition for spots, and that's something that honestly we haven't really had much of in the past few seasons I've been coaching there, is that there's a significant drop after your starters, and it's not going to be the case this year. There's going to be some really tough battles, for those valuable minutes on the field. So,
well, let's talk about some of those kids that's going to be playing. How many seniors do you have, and some names that may be potential starters, or they were starters last year for you?
We've got a big senior class. Right now we're going to have about 10.
Okay.
And just standouts off the top of my head, we've got Sean Anderson was our MVP last year as a junior. He plays wing for us, and we'll see where we put him this year. But, just can't say enough about his leadership qualities and his fitness and his just abilities. He's a great kid. Jake Sanders is going to be a great leader for us. And both him and Sean have just really impressed me in this offseason, just really taking ownership of the fact that this is their last hurrah, in high school, and so trying to make it the most, not just for themselves, but for the team as a whole. We've got people with incredible talent all the way, to people that have great skill, but they add so much to the team just for their character. Names coming up to me are Trey Summerfeld is a senior this year. He's played for me the last couple of years, and he's the pulse of the team, and so having him out there, I know, is just a great motivator for everybody.
Now, do you do captains, or do you kind of do it game by game? How do you do that?
I do. We have captains, and I've done it a couple different ways in past years. Last year, I actually started a thing where I let the team choose them.
Okay.
And so it's neat to see how the players, that really are the leaders on the team and fit that profile of a captain really emerge, and it's unanimous. Every year that the team really recognizes that.
Right,
so.
right. Do you kind of give some kind of criteria as far as what you expect a captain to be? And I know when I was in football, I would always, there'd be certain things that were like team rules, and if the kids had broken certain rules, then that kind of eliminated them from being a captain, because that didn't represent what our football team wanted to be. And I didn't know if other coaches, other sports kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, we do. Just the way that I'm manage the team, I think it's pretty clear. Things that are acceptable, I like to hold them to a very high standard. I always joke with them and say, I'm not joking, but guys, I want you to be the guys that everybody wants to be. The guys that the teachers want in class, the guys that the guys want to be friends with, and the girls want to date. Just the way they carry themselves and the way they react to adversity, and honesty and hard work. All these things, and I think that there's a short leash on my team with that character, and so consequently over years, like I was mentioning earlier, the buy-in is there. I feel like, and I think that the people that really emerge as the leaders on the team exemplify everything that the coaches are looking for. So.
Right. Well, tell us what district you're in, because I know soccer is one of those sports. It's not like football; they don't have the same district.
Right.
So what district are you in, and what some of the teams that are in your district?
Okay, we're in a district that's plays mostly teams south of here. We've got from Williamson County, Spring Hill, and other than that, just about everybody's outside of Williamson County. So Giles County, Columbia Academy, Loretto, and Hickman County, East Hickman. I'm forgetting a couple, but those are the...
So Page is not in your district then?
They're not. They are in our region, and up until last year, we used to always open up the season with them.
Okay.
But look forward to hopefully getting to see them down the road.
Is Summit in the district with Page?
They're over there with Page, yeah. And we do have them on the schedule this year, and played them last year. So.
Right. So as far as your group, who is the team to beat each year in that group?
Well, and
besides you guys.
That's right. Well, I want to give a lot of credit to a lot of the schools out in our district. There's places that don't have quite as much emphasis on soccer and stuff. And so Williamson County definitely has the advantage there. But typically it's Fairview and Giles County, Columbia Academy. We're always kind of neck and neck and trading places there for who's going to fight there in the district championship. And certainly there's other teams that, have something to say about that, but those will be our big rivals. We had a fantastic season last year, and actually posted after making it to the sub-state and everything, 7 losses, but 3 of them came from Giles County in the district championship, and then again in the region championship. So we're looking forward to getting those guys again.
Okay, all right. Well, do you have any kids, Coach, that maybe play 2 sports, maybe a crossover between football and soccer, or basketball and soccer, or anything like that?
We've got another senior I forgot to mention earlier, but Christian Suffrage, fantastic kicker for the football team. But he's going to be one of our strongest players. He was last year, and just a tremendous athlete. So I know he's looking forward to, hanging up the football cleats and putting on the soccer ones.
Sure.
I'll use the same ones.
Right. Are there any things that you do as a team, like fundraiser events that you kind of do on a yearly basis that you'd want to tell us about?
Well, we've actually done quite a lot of different things each year. It's sort of varied, just depending upon what our needs are and the size of the team and how many materials we need. We did do something pretty fun this year, just generating a competition with a couple different physical events, and based on how the players finished in these particular events, they got points and stuff, so that they would at the end of the off season make it through as gold, silver, bronze, and it's just a little clubs of distinguishment, and they get some prizes and stuff to go along with it. But it's ultimately just as a way to kind of say I'm gold, that kind of thing. So
yeah. If there's one rule that you could change in the game of soccer, what kind of rule change would you want to make?
Boy,
I'll tell you what mine is.
Okay.
Because
that would help.
I did soccer one spring back before you was born, back in the early '80s probably, and I'm a guy who likes scoring. I don't like that offside rule. I don't like it. I mean, I think if they did away with that rule, you'd see 10-9 games,
at least
7-8 games, like instead of these 1-0 games.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna disagree with you there, Jack. I think it's a good rule. It's there.
All those soccer guys do.
Right. But there's no doubt that rule in particular can be. It
affects the game, man.
Very much so, and sometimes it can be a little subjective based on the referees you have that make that call or don't make that call, whatever. But no, I don't know. I think that I think I'd like to see, and this isn't necessarily a rule changing soccer as a sport, but just the tie-breaking procedures and stuff. We've been burned, like a lot of teams have been, in the past with shootouts and things. So, I don't know. I'd like to see a way to change that. I don't know if there is one.
Well, okay, I'll put my input in as far as trying to get the offsides, but I know it's not going to happen. But, Jason, I appreciate you being with me here today in our first segment, and best of luck this year at Fairview and your boys' soccer program, and stay injury-free.
God willing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for our first session. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for our second segment.
Some children just seem to be born leaders. They have the natural ability and confidence that just makes other people want to work with them. But all children can become leaders, and here are a few things you can try to develop the leadership potential for your child. First, watch leaders in the news and talk about what makes them good at leading. Model leadership for your child through your own involvement in school, business, or community activities. Teach your child to look at things from other people's points of view, because good leaders can see the world from different perspectives. Look for opportunities for your child to be involved in leadership activities through church, clubs, scouts, or athletic teams. Hold family meetings and let your child take turns being in charge. Now remember, don't pressure your child beyond his ability. If he seems to be unhappy or stressed, just relax and lighten up and try again when he's ready. Remember, stay connected. You're the vital link in your child's school success. I'm Joan Tidwell, and this is Parent Connection. Welcome back to our second segment of the Williamson County Sports Connection.
And with me in this segment is the head boys baseball, I said boys baseball, but the baseball coach at Ravenwood High School, Coach Teddy Craig. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
First time here, so let's tell everybody where you grew up, and where you went to school, and different sports that you may have played.
Well, I grew up in Orlando, Florida. Played all different sports, but once I get to high school, I decided I was going to focus on baseball. And fortunately, I was able to continue playing in college. I went to University of Arkansas at Little Rock and played there, and then moved back to Orlando once I finished my career there. Got married and started teaching and coaching in the Orlando area. And in year 2007, we made a family move, and we moved up here to the Nashville area. And I love it so far. I've got 3 boys, so that's about how I've got to today.
Well, have you heard of a high school? Used to be called Cypress Creek High School down in Orlando?
I did. We used to play them quite a bit.
We came down when I was a head coach at Brentwood and played in a kickoff classic down there at Disney World against those guys in football back in 2001.
Right.
And that's my first experience. I think they had about 4,000 students or something like that.
That's a big difference between the schools in Orlando and up here. You know, everyone talks about the athletes being better down there, and the big difference to me is that the school I came from, we had 3,600 students.
Oh, man.
So if you can imagine combining, say, Ravenwood with Brentwood, that would be one high school. So that's a big difference.
That is a big difference. Only problem I see in my mind is there's probably a lot of kids that don't get an opportunity to play high school sports when you're that big. Kind of gets you got squeezed out by the numbers game on that. Well, Coach, who helps you in baseball? You got how many assistant coaches?
I have a great staff. I have Danny Bourne. This is his second year. He handles the strength and the speed program. Does a great job for all our sports. He also is our pitching coach. And he does a lot of other things within the program. My other assistant is Jason Pope, who also helps out with the varsity. Jason was a Ravenwood grad, I believe 2005. He played at Ravenwood, and he also is a JV head coach. And we just added another one, Lanny McGowan, who's well known in the Nolensville area. He's been coaching forever. So we've got a really good staff, and hopefully I can keep them together for a long time.
I meant to ask you too, Coach, what do you teach out there at Ravenwood High School?
Personal finance and PE.
Okay. So that many coaches, junior varsity, is it like a freshman team too? Do you have a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team? How does that work?
We just have a JV team, which is 9th and 10th graders.
Okay.
You know, any kid we keep on the varsity, that's an underclassman, like a 10th grader on the varsity. He has to play a significant role. It wouldn't make, you know, to bring him up, a player at 9th or 10th grader, and sit him on the bench, that wouldn't make any sense. So what we do is we kind of figure it out, and occasionally we'll bring up guys if we need some extra arms in a tournament. But for the most part, we have 2 teams, and we practice together, and most of our games are double headers where the JV opens up, and then we finish it that evening.
Well, I do. I know a little bit about Ravenwood. I was there when the school opened up back in 2002, and I know that first year that actually the baseball team went and played down on the Smith Brothers parks down the road a little bit. But there's been a lot of work that's went on over the last 10 years over there on that baseball field. And it's probably one of the nicer fields in the county.
Sure. I was fortunate because when I came in, I followed some guys that really took care of the field. And hopefully I'll just continue where they left off, and it's a great surface. It takes a lot of work.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. A lot of people don't know just how much work goes into taking care of a baseball field and all the, extra things that a baseball coach has to do.
I'm not the guru in field maintenance, but I've learned a lot over the years just because I've been doing it for so long. But it's a year-round job. It's a year-round job in terms of overseeding and mowing and making sure the clay is right and the mixture of the materials that you put on the field and the edging. I mean, it's a full-time deal to keep the field looking like it does.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about last year's team, how they ended up and how they did before we get into this year's team.
Well, we played very well at the end of the season last year.
Okay.
We were just about that far from advancing. We had some, not to make excuses, we had a few key injuries down the line. We had a key pitcher who never made it back to the mound, but overall we made big progress. We made huge progress in my first year. It took me probably 4 or 5 weeks to figure out where everyone should be. That was a tough task, but we played well. I think we finished with 18 or 19 wins, and we're returning a strong nucleus. We've got 5 starters coming back, and we've got a couple guys coming back off arm injuries that missed the entire season last year. So we've got a nice crop coming back.
When you say advancing, Coach, are you talking about advancing out of the district or into the state? And how many teams move out of the district?
Unlike some of the other sports, only 2 get out.
Okay.
So in order to get out, you have to win the regular season title with the best record or win the district championship.
All right.
And
no, I like that. I like you guys, because every district don't do that now.
Right.
So whoever's the league champion throughout the year, you guys are rewarding them automatically. They're going to the next level there.
They're automatically in, and then the rest of the teams are playing for that other berth.
So the format of the tournament is going to set up, because there's, what, 6 teams in your district?
6 teams, right.
You're District 11 AAA, letting everybody know that. And next year that district changes a little bit. Hillsboro's moving out, and Dixon County's going to be coming in, but this year Hillsboro's in there with you. So that leaves 5 teams playing for that one spot.
Right. And actually next year Summit's coming in, if I'm correct.
Summit is in, Hillsboro's out, and Dixon County, so you got 7 teams next year, right?
Sure. So it's going to be really competitive.
Right. So 2 teams move on to the region?
The region.
And 1 team out of the region?
Well, actually 2 could advance from there because they go separate spots to play.
Okay.
And that's happened before. But
so 2 teams out of the same district then may advance on to the state?
That could happen.
Okay.
That could happen.
Well, our district in relationship, when I say our district, District 11 AAA, how competitive is that district versus other districts across the state?
You know, this whole Middle Tennessee area is very competitive.
Okay.
You know, you go down in the Murfreesboro, there's some great teams there. You go up in the Mount Juliet area, there's some great teams there. There's a lot of parity in our conference. There's not, you can't overlook anyone. Anybody can beat anybody, and you can look at their track records the last few years that, you know, Franklin and Brentwood advanced last year. I believe the year before Independence went into the state playoffs and made a nice run. Centennial's very good this year, so it's going to be competitive. It's going to be a dogfight.
Okay. Well, kind of go back to your team this year and kind of go over some of your returning players you've got, and, you know, some kids that you're expecting some big things out of.
Ryan Sabo's coming back. This is his 3rd year starting. He's our shortstop. He signed with Southern Illinois, so he'll be going up there to play ball next fall. Blake Shunk's another player coming back. He plays 3rd base and pitches for us. He's a senior. Jordan Wolfley is our catcher. Now, we haven't gotten on the field, so I'm just kind of making predictions here. But Jordan was a really good hitter for us last year. He played in the outfield, and we're going to move him back behind the plate. Zach Moore is another key cog. He plays center field and pitches. Sean Mann is a pitcher that we're going to take a look at him at first base this year. These are all senior guys that I've seen play, and I know what I'm getting from them. And we've got a couple guys that are coming off arm injuries. So we've got quite a group coming back, as well as Bryce Denton, who most people know about. You know, he's a freshman who had a tremendous year as a freshman on the varsity last year, and he's going to be with us for a while. So it's a good group of kids.
So he could be one of those kids that some of these SEC schools may want.
He's got a chance. He's got a chance.
Well, Coach, just from talking to you in the past, I think you're pretty big in the off-season training, aren't you? Weight room and stuff. Kind of talk about that, what you do.
We lift year-round.
Okay.
We lift year-round. The only month we take off is the month of August. We actually get going once the kids come back to school. We start lifting September 1st, and we go year-round, even during the season. During the season, we're trying to maintain, but we go 3 to 4 days a week, and generally we come in before school and lift before school. So it's imperative that you do that now. With these BB core bats, it's like hitting with a wooden bat. So
they changed them.
They changed it, so without strength, you can't. It's hard to hit the baseball, and that's one of the reasons we do that. But for other reasons, we're trying to improve our speed. We're trying to become a better athlete, basically.
Well, I know that Summit, when they had baseball stadium, new school opened up down there. Coach Kirby, I know he wanted the outfield fences put in a little bit from the original design. I guess that may be because of the bats being, I don't know, taking the liveliness out of the bat or something like that. So, but Ravenwood, their fences seem like it's way on the back there a little bit, isn't it?
They're a mile back there. They sure are. In fact, we didn't hit a home run at home last year.
Right.
That's how it's 365 in the gaps. It takes a good shot to get it out of there. And now that they changed to the BB core,
right,
obviously it's even more difficult. So,
well, on the coaching end of it, Coach, do you coach like pitchers or the catchers or the infield? How do you break that up? I mean, are you kind of coach everybody, or I mean, you know, because like in football, I've got, you know, quarterback coaches and I got running back coaches. How do you guys divvy that up?
well, what we did last year is Danny Bourne handled the pitchers and Jason Pope handled the outfielders, and I handled the infielders, and we worked with the catchers a little bit as well as the hitters. But you know, I like to just bounce around. I don't like to just stay in one spot. I like to move around. And the practice time before the season starts, it's important to get on the field and get as much done as you can because of the weather.
Right.
You know, we're fighting with the weather that right now I'm concerned going into next week that, you know, those fields don't dry out real well when it's 40 degrees. So I can't spend too much time just focusing on one thing. So we've got to get in playing shape real fast.
So in the off-season condition prior to the season, what are you actually allowed to do with the kids?
We lift, we work on speed, and there's a time frame there where we can start throwing, conditioning our arms. But in terms of
batting cages, can they do that?
They can do that. It's called open facilities,
okay,
where the kids can hit. We cannot instruct. So basically, we're supervisors on campus, but we can't get in there and work with them.
Can you do that out on the field itself when they say
Well,
open facilities?
We stay off the field right now just because it's wet, and I don't want to tear up the infield. I tell those kids to do those things on their own in terms of ground balls, fly balls. But we go through about an 8-week throwing program to prepare for the season. We start that before the holidays, and we're just now finishing that up.
Right. Coach, do you have any fundraisers that you do as a baseball team you'd like to tell us about?
You know, our booster club's done a great job of handling all that. Where I came from, the kids raised all the money. And here, it's a little bit different. We sell a lot of ads, signs that go around the complex.
Right.
And that's a huge addition to the program. But as far as the kids individually doing things, we just work on getting better.
Okay. So when you say around the complex, you're talking about on the outside fence of the baseball outfield type thing?
On the back side of the bleachers.
Okay.
On the back side of the bleachers, there's ads up there.
Okay.
So companies can advertise.
But you go to baseball fields, you know, all over, you see these advertisements out on the fence and left field and right field. You guys don't do that?
We haven't got to that point yet.
Okay.
We're just taking it one step at a time.
Well, if there's, I asked coaches this, if you could change one rule about baseball, what would it be?
You know, the rule that I would change doesn't even apply to high school. It would be a middle school.
Okay.
When they changed the BB core bat, now the middle school kids have to use a drop 3 BB core bat, which some of these kids weigh 100 pounds. They have trouble hitting it out of the infield. I have a problem with that. I think they shouldn't have changed that rule. But as far as the high school, I like it.
Coach, thank you for being here. Best of luck this year. Stay healthy, and I know you'll have a great year.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us for this segment of the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host.
My book is named The Chocolate Touch. The thing I like about this book is because it tells about a boy who gets a chocolate. Everything you touch turns to chocolate. It's a really good book. Amazing. Blueberry!